Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're playing with a different kind of control deck, a Sultai control deck. This deck has Moment of Craving and Cry of the Canarium and Ritual Soot and Vraska's Contempt, the usual control suspects, but in a Sultai shell, along with a lot of multicolored cards like Assassin's Trophy, Discovery, Thought Erasure, Vraska Golgari Queen, Vraska Relic Seeker, and Hydroid Krasis, and it takes advantage of those multicolor cards with a card that doesn't get played very often, Vivid Revival. Return up to 3 target multicolored cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Vivid Revival. When you play this, getting back, say, a Hydroid Krasis, a Vraska, and an Assassin's Trophy, or perhaps a Thought Erasure for a control deck, you get a huge swing in the position in the game, and it's actually a really fun card to play with and a pretty fun deck to play with as well. I have won some competitive, or I call them competitive events. They've changed the name many times. The quick constructed events, now I just think they're called constructed events, best of 1 events. I have won a few of those with this deck, so it's got a little bit of chops. On ladder, it's just kind of all right. I'm probably going to see how it goes in another one of those constructed events, because red decks are usually the prey, and let's just say I want to go prey upon some of them, as well as continue to build up my gold stash. I've got a lot of gold saved and ready for War of the Spark, which I'm really looking forward to. If you want to see me pop all my gold, make sure to watch my live stream on day 1 of War of the Spark. All right, let's go do some battles. Our hand doesn't have 2 blue sources, but it has early removal and the revival and 3 land, so I'll hang on to it. We'll give that a shot. Our opponent coming right out with a blue source, and they're on the play. Could it be the dreaded Curious Obsession draw? I think we've all seen this before. Aha! And that's what we like to see. Just turn that critter sideways. No Curious Obsession. Siren Storm Tamer in the house, though. And double Siren Storm Tamer. I wonder if this will ever resolve. Probably not. Let's play the Hinterland Harbor and get our Moment of Craving ready. In fact, we should just play the Moment of Craving now, because these can sacrifice to counter the Moment of Craving. But what's more important, the 2 life or the 1 mana from our opponent? It's a good question. It's a very good question. Well, I've decided that I really want this to resolve, so I'm going to go after a Siren Storm Tamer now. Buying time to cast this Ritual Soot or set it up better might be very important in the game. Take my beats. And a Tempest Djinn joins the battlefield. Well, that will get Assassin's Trophied right here, right now. I don't like giving the opponent a land, but I'd rather that than take a beating from that Tempest Djinn. Also, the opponent playing a Tempest Djinn just like that kind of implies they don't have counter magic. If they did, wouldn't they try to set up the Tempest Djinn better? Or maybe they just play their mono blue extremely aggressively. Terramander's another obnoxious card. Double Terramander. Okay, with 1 card to go. I think we go for this. If the opponent has it, they have it. If they don't, boom shakalaka. Yeah. That felt good. So, whether or not to go for it in that situation, you really have to look at the play patterns of the game. The opponent running out their spells without waiting for ways to protect them really implies that they're not holding something like a Spell Pierce or a Counterspell. It is the arena. Anything could happen. The opponents could play in ways that you're not used to. But typically, if they had a Spell Pierce or a Counterspell, they would play that whole game a bit differently. So this hand we want to open with the harbor because we don't have an island or a forest, and then swamp and these lands should be off to the races. It's a pretty good hand. We'll see if Vraska the Golgari Queen can do things. Vraska's a little bit awkward in the deck. We don't sacrifice our permanents very often unless we have a million lands, and even then we may not want to. It's more like a multicolored card you can get back with the revival that can also take out all kinds of permanents. So bolt the bird, as they say, or kill the elf as soon as you can. Be grateful that we are on the play this time so that the opponent doesn't get to take advantage of that Llanowar elf mana. And now they have a Druid of the Cowl. That's okay. We have counter magic available for their next play, which I'm sure will make them not the happiest. Countering a Nullhide Ferox is pretty much a no-brainer at that stage. Vivid Revival. I only have one multicolored card so far, but I do want to show off the card, and it is pretty strong. Still, it's a little bit of a wasted draw step, but I might need it later. I'm going to keep it, and we'll see what happens. So here, I want to play the Golgari Queen and use it to kill off this Druid of the Cowl immediately. Just take away all the opponent's creatures. That's my strategy. If the opponent follows up with another creature, I can Contempt it. Very flavorful with a Vraska on the board. We can play this, and then this will enter untapped next turn. I don't want to sacrifice any lands, so we'll just play the Golgari Queen, tick her up from here, but not actually sacrifice much. We need our land in this deck. There's Gigantosaurus. I think that's an easy Contempt. I could wait and see what I draw, but I think I'd rather Contempt here so that if I draw a counter spell, I have that available. Another Contempt, continuing the flavor. And we'll pass the turn. So now I'm all set to kill anything small the opponent plays, and here's a Diamond Mare. It looks like they're on kind of a starter green, although a Nullhide Ferox might have been an early craft. And a Druid of the Cowl, okay. Pair of 1/3s here. Let's tick away and take away the Mana Dork. I don't care much about the opponent gaining life, but the mana could matter. Vraska can still gain loyalty even with a Diamond Mare attacking it, and I'm sure we'll draw another solution, but I'd like to hold the Vraska's Contempt for something bigger. And of course, if Vraska ever does die, Vivid Revival can get Vraska along with 2 other multicolored cards back. We haven't drawn that many multicolored cards yet, though. Here's a Titanic Growth. We'll defend the Vraska here. It could be a mistake if the opponent follows up with something huge, but we'll make them have it. Is it time to sacrifice a land? I guess so. We do want to draw through the flood a little bit and find a Hydroid Krasis. And 7 lands seems like enough for right now. Pretty much when you're sacrificing land or not, ask yourself if you have a big enough Krasis that you'd be happy to draw a Hydroid Krasis. If you do have a big enough Krasis, go with it. It's been a few games without a red deck, so we're due. This hand is pretty good against a red deck, so let's keep it. Yep. Here we go. Babe Ruth over here calling his shot. Wait, what's this? Green? Something fresh and so clean. That's 2 straight lands off the top. That is not what I had in mind when I kept a 3-spell 4-land hand. But if we draw Hydroid Krasis, I'll be grateful for those. So do I take this Harpooner damage? It all depends. So the opponent didn't play a Spellbreaker, so I think I'll take this and see if we can get a good Cry of the Canarium. No, we cannot. It's a Goblin Chain Whirler. It's a little bit of a problem. Whether or not to use a Moment of Craving here, I think I'll wait. It's kind of a tough one to figure out. I definitely don't want to cry here, so let's play this and say go. It's possible I could have blanked my opponent's turn by having 2 blue sources open. Maybe they attack and do nothing else, and then at end step by Moment, untap and Vraska. It's possible that's what I should have done. Let's see if they have a Collision Colossus here. Nope. But we are in a lot of trouble. We've drawn way too many land. If our opponent has any good amount of threats, they can probably sequence them in such a way that we die. Here's a Kroll Harpooner, and there's an Assassin's Trophy. I think it's a good turn to trophy the Chain Whirler and try to blank my opponent's turn. We could play the Vraska and minus it, but that kind of tells the opponent do whatever you want to do. The opponent does seem to be holding a Lightning Strike, something of that nature. So let's see what happens here. I think I'll take the damage and see if I can blank my opponent's turn, keep them from deploying another threat. That can lead me into the sequence of trophy something, then Golgari Queen, kill your last thing. But no, the opponent still plays a threat. They're reading my mail pretty well. Alright, on end step, let's go for trophy or Chain Whirler. It's just been a flood heavy draw. I'm trying to get the most out of my spells, but it's really not working out for me, unfortunately. Okay, that's a good draw. That's a good draw. So we can play this Cry of the Canarium. If the opponent saves the Kroll Harpooner with their Collision Colossus, at least we don't take that much damage. And now we can save this for our opponent's turn. And we're going to do that because we would rather use it on something like a Skargan Hellkite if they're going to play something of that nature. Here comes the Lightning Strike. Let's see what else they have up their sleeve. There's the Hellkite. Going down to 2 is really scary. Let's fire away. Another trophy. If they have a shock, I'm just dead. No? No shock. Alright. Let's go, Vraska. Save me. They have a status statue? That must be what's holding priority here. Nothing else makes sense.
Before I make you disappear, I will make that disappear.
Alright, let's hope we get to untap from here and gain some life and not get something like a Gruul Spellbreaker. Ooh, Rekindling Phoenix. We need Vraska's Contempt. Ooh, not good enough. So we'll tap it. We'll tap this for mana first, sacrifice it, and draw a card. It's our last chance, and it's not good enough. And that will be our first loss. Bit of an ugly spot to draw those sabotages. A little bit sooner, please. Well, we finally see Thought Erasure and Hydroid Crassus. It took 3 games, and they're both 4-ofs, so I feel like the deck's been lopsided so far, but it happens. Card on top, Plains, Leonin Vanguard. Alright. That Ritual Soot off the top is going to be clutch. We're going to need it to step up because we're going to take a beating here in the early game. I think we go with the Thought Erasure. We really need a second Black Source. And there goes the Loxodon. That was a big hit. Ooh, that's a pretty good hit too. Maybe we won't need the Ritual Soot right away if we can remove enough threats. The opponent without another play implies that this card isn't very good or might be a land. I don't care much about the Conclave Tribunal. Therefore, it seems like a good turn to Moment of Crave the Tithe Taker and slow that down. If we wait till our opponent's turn, it costs an extra mana, and I don't plan to shock myself for this land. Next turn will most likely be either a land off the top or a Discovery Dispersal to find one. And the opponent for 2 straight draws has not found another creature. So let's see if we can locate some black mana. Let's bin those. Uh-oh. What kind of trouble have we gotten into where suddenly there's no land in the deck? Fortunately, our opponent's not doing too well. Alright, do we hold open Sinister Sabotage or do we Thought Erase? The opponent's cards can't be that good, or we would have seen them. We could have also played a Hydroid Krasis there. I've just got a feeling I should try to get this Sabotage used. The opponent can't just draw bricks here forever. Right? There's a Snubhorn Sentry. Ritual Soot could kill that, but... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's... Our opponent's still a ways off Ascending, so I think I'm letting that resolve. Why didn't they play that before combat to pump the Vanguard, I wonder? I guess they were just that certain I'd counter it. I think I will run out the Krasis here. Well, let's think about it. If the opponent plays this, Conclave Tribunal, they exile the Krasis, they only need one other permanent to ascend their Snubhorn, and I take a lot more damage. I don't like that. I think I'll pass the turn again, and this time, depending what the opponent does, I might use an Assassin's Trophy. I'm playing it pretty conservatively when we have 7 cards versus 3. I think the most important thing is that I start spending cards. Well, I don't think this gets a lot better. And I think the opponent's playing off the top. I think their other card is either another Conclave Tribunal or something, yeah, probably another Conclave Tribunal or a land. So with that in mind, let's play the counter. Let's try to get to a black source. My god. This is getting very tilting. Where are we at? Almost a third the way through, and there's a black source. Vraska's a good one to keep. So we'll keep that on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again. We could Thought Erase away the Tribunal. Next turn will be Ritual of Soot. We could also hold up Assassin's Trophy. Take less damage. I think that the Assassin's Trophy is probably the wisest play because it plays around a top-decked Benelish Marshal, and I still don't think my opponent's hand is very good. So I don't think that throwing the Thought Erasure is the right play. Alright, here we go. Down to 6, and passing turn means we finally get a Ritual Soot. Which should be the watershed moment, the point where we pull away, but we will see how it goes. I think I want to get my opponent to play the Conclave Tribunal on the Vraska, not on the Krasis, since when the Krasis comes back it's a 0/0. So we'll play out the Vraska, we'll minus it to kill the Snubhorn Sentry.
Go ahead, evil creatures. They vanish all the time.
The opponent will play the Conclave Tribunal, taking out the Vraska, but then we can Assassin's... We can Assassin's Trophy the Tribunal now and get our Vraska back. Before I do that, I'm going to erase the hand. There is probably another Tribunal. Okay, 2 more Tribunals. Do I want more land? Doesn't seem like land could possibly be bad right now with my hand full of Hydroid Krasis. Alright, so we see the other Tribunal, which means we're going to want to Assassin's Trophy it at some point. Let's Assassin's Trophy this Tribunal now. Actually, we want to wait till our opponent has a creature on the battlefield so there's something for Vraska to kill. Right now it would just tick up and the opponent would play the other Tribunal, and then I would trophy the other Tribunal, and on we would go. And there's no reason to be in a rush. But the opponent's going to scoop it up, and I agree, they're not coming back from that one. Well, this hand has no early removal. It's a bit of a mess. Am I due to play against a control deck? I think I am. I'm going to try it. The opponent goes turn 1 Lava Runner, though. The sadness will start to creep in. Close enough. Alright, we don't have a way to play this untapped, so that's the land we should lead on, followed by the island. guess we could top deck a Cry of the Canarium. That would be pretty nice. Now we'll kick back, watch our opponent draw 2 to 4 cards. Hits a Runaway Steamkin, has the second land. And no other creature, so that's good. We can play this, but we can't play the trophy yet. Which we may have wanted to do on something like a Steamkin. We'll see what our opponent does next turn. Alright, they're not going to take it easy. That implies that they probably have some kind of a card in hand along the lines of an Experimental Frenzy. They missed their land drop. That's a bit frustrating because I would love to not have to trophy this. But it does imply that our opponent should play into the Sabotage when they have a Steamkin on the battlefield, so we'll watch for something to counter here. So the opponent gets their attack in, activates Spectacle. Now we might see a light up the stage. Passes the turn. Okay. I don't think I want a trophy while my opponent's stuck on land. I just don't think that's me. But now I have Vraska's Contempt available, Moment of Craving. Let's say go. And the opponent not doing anything, if this is the game they're going to play, I can play this game. Alright, they go for a Pyromancer. We can respond to this with the Moment of Craving. Take 2. And an additional 1. I still don't want to Assassin's Trophy until my opponent starts hitting more land drops. Ooh, gotcha. That's gonna buy us some time. But we've got to believe the opponent's hand is just all gas. So we have to be pretty wary. Let's Vraska's Contempt this immediately to play around Wizard's Lightning in our opponent's hand. And we're going to try to run them out of creatures. They're going to shock the face and light the stage. They hit a Viashino Pyromancer and a Mountain. And they didn't skewer the critics. So I want to counter this Pyromancer, I believe. So we'll pass the turn. Eventually the Crassus will come out. I'm kind of waiting for more land, but we'll see. Yeah, if the opponent draws more creatures, the Contempts are very good, but now at this stage, I think it's time to play Baby Crassus. Because every life point could matter. The good news is I can take on Experimental Frenzies for days with these Assassin's Trophies. Here's a Goblin Chain Whirler. That's a good Contempt target. We'll just fire that up now. I'm also going to hold back the Hydroid Crassus. Or get to Lava Runner. Guaranteed 4 of in the deck. It'll be coming around the mountain eventually. Full price light up the stage. I love it. With another Chain Whirler on deck. What should I do this turn? I'm on the edge of discarding to hand size. Let's drop off the Relic Seeker, as much as I hate to. It is multicolored, so we can get it back with Vivid Revival, and we're a long way from casting it. Who would have known I'd draw to exactly 4 lands in my first 8 draw steps, and then not draw another for so long? This is fine. We can Vraska's Contempt it. The opponent playing a Fanatical Firebrand. That could kill my Crassus, but I would welcome that. Go ahead and kill my Crassus. Already got me some value, so that's okay with me. And now we'll Contempt away the Chain Whirler, keep the life total moving in the right direction. There's another land. Let's hold up the Sinister Sabotage and keep piling up land. Trying to decide if I want to trophy this. Sabotaging, it's fine. We can still use trophies on something like Experimental Frenzy. And there's a land off the top. Land is great right now. Wizard's Lightning the face. Alright, here we go. We're getting into the point of the game where the red deck is almost out of hand. I'm still holding out to gain more life off these Crassi. Crasises, whatever you want to say. Alright. Playing around counter magic. Let's start this party. Having 4 toughness is a big deal here as well. Oh, here come the bolts. Down to 6. Can the opponent untap and kill me with Bolt? Runaway Steamkin is not it. But skewer the critics to the face. That's okay. That's okay. We have the Moment of Craving. Gain that life right back. Thank you very much. How's our multicolored card stash? We've got another Krasis down there. 1 Krasis, 1 Vraska. So I guess I should Discovery Dispersal. Another land and a Ritual Set. I don't need the Ritual Set anymore. I'll take the land. Set up a bigger Krasis for next turn. And now, since we're playing off the top and I can Assassin's Trophy a haste creature if they draw it, we'll go ahead and start attacking with our Krasis. Untap and draw. Another life gainer. That's good. Let's send over this Krasis and then make a bigger one. And enter tapped. We'll just try to gain life every turn if we can. We've got 10 damage on the board. It's not quite lethal. Alright, we'll do it like this. Send in 6. Send in the clowns. Smash, smash, smash. Play this Vraska. Gain another life. I'll sacrifice the 4/4 Krasis. Draw a card. Thought Erasure. Cool. We'll play the Vivid Revival for the good measures, since, you know, it's kind of what we're here for. Get back the Crassi and the Relic Seeker. Put it on the opponent to deal 9 damage to me this turn. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. This can go because I'm sure my opponent's hand is bad. This can go because I have too many of them. And that's going to do it. So you might wonder why I sacrificed the Krasis. I sacrificed it because more mana means more life from future Hydroid Krasis, which is what I was getting back with Vivid Revival anyway. And my main goal for the rest of that game was to gain life every turn so that the opponent couldn't burn me out. If the opponent couldn't burn me out, I don't think they could win. Alright, let's move along. No black mana. A bit messy, but I do have 2 sabotages. This hand might just be too slow though and get run over. I think it's a keep because it's basically 6 playable cards, but against another mono red deck, I don't think it has a real prayer. And there's black mana right off the top giving me a chance, but not much of a chance. The opponent is on the play, so they'll get 3 threats underneath my counter magic, and I don't have removal spells. Just one of those draws. We'll be going for a black source off the top. So we're going to play this instead of the breeding pool because of that. See if the opponent grows their Steamkin too big. They don't. Well, black source off the top would be very good. But it has to be right now. Denied. Well, now we have Sabotage open, but I don't think it will matter. We have to try to sabotage our way to a black source now. One turn off. Let's see if we can get our opponent to use that Steamkin mana. That'd be a pretty big swing in the game. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Down to 4. So even gaining 2, this is still 6 damage on the battlefield, so it won't do. I guess we just have to hope our opponent's an idiot and goes to use their Steamkin mana. Nope, not quite an idiot. And that will be loss number 2. Gotta blame the hand for that one, though. We could have mulliganed. I don't have a lot of faith in the mulligan to be a lot better. To follow up on the hand I kept from last game, that is also a mental shift. Best of 1 mulliganing is a lot different from best of 3 mulliganing, and that's pretty hard to adapt to. Looking back, I think that the last game, that hand was definitely a mulligan in best of 1, and definitely not a mulligan in best of 3. And the fact that there is such a difference makes the game a bit more complicated. So do I want to trophy a Belt Collector? I don't think so. Most likely next turn the opponent will play a Grill Spellbreaker and smash for 5. I'll untap, and then I'll have to trophy the Spellbreaker. It's a bit of a mess, but I do think that Discovery is still the right play here. Another trophy is probably good. Another land is unnecessary. No girls, no Spellbreaker. No creature of any kind. It's kind of interesting. I would love for Vraska to come down, eat the Pelt Collector, and be the only permanent on the board. Well, hello. I wonder if my opponent can use this mana. See, we have a difficult choice. If we trophy this, our opponent has extra mana and they get 2 triggers off the Pelt Collector. And we still take 3. If the opponent can't use the mana, that's fine. But I probably shouldn't let them have it. I still give them 1 mana, but it's the difference between 1 and 2 mana, and 2 mana generally goes a lot further in Magic. I'm pretty worried about playing this Vraska. I think it's going to die, but I still think I should take the opportunity. Your 4 mana Vraskas die often. It's usually not something to worry too much about. It's just the way it is. They were bred to suffer. Ooh. Our opponent does go 3/3 and lightning strikes the Vraska instead of attacking it with the Goblin. Interesting. Ritual of Soot off the top. Our opponent's hand is pretty weak. I don't know if or when we'd ever get a 2-for-1 from my Ritual of Soot. So we'll go ahead and blow up with this Goblin. It looks like they have another lightning strike in hand. It's quite possible their hand is 2 burn spells. Llanowar Elves. Well, that's something I wish I could sweep up with the Ritual of Soot. Oh well. Let it go. At this stage, I'm not in a hurry to kill it. There's something I'm going to have to kill. So this is awkward. If I go to kill the Guardian, they activate it. If I untap and kill the Guardian and they activate it, I have to kill it again in response. So the key is to just wait until they activate the Guardian. But man, would it be nice right now to have... Oh god, if they get to untap though, they just activate it again. Yeah, that's really awkward. And using the last of my removal spells like this is pretty frustrating. So I have to then go for a trophy. right here. The opponent will activate it in response, and then I have to contempt away the Guardian. Because remember, if I let my opponent untap and I go for a removal spell, they can activate, then reactivate. And a smart opponent would just never activate it and just keep beating my life total down. So we're out of gas. It's time for Hydroid Krasis. I would also take a Vivid Revival. A big Vraska off the top would be very strong as well. I wonder what the opponent's tanking on here. I'm tapped out, so they can do whatever they want. Okay, so the idea is I want to get this damage in with Colossus while I can. So they're assuming I'm playing some kind of a creatureless shenanigan, but I do have the Hydroid Krasi, and I need to find them pronto. I guess I'll take this Thought Erasure because it gets me a look at yet another card in the deck anyway. Even though I doubt it's going to hit much from my opponent's hand. Ghalta and Lightning Strike. Let's take the Ghalta. They're one creature away from getting that onto the battlefield. Another land. Yeah, we're just waiting. Waiting for Vivid Revival or Hydroid Krasis to take this game over. We've certainly set it up to the best of our ability. It's all up to the deck now. With our event life on the line, we draw a Vivid Revival. Alright, it's on. So, I want you, and you, and you. I want all things card advantage. Lightning Strike face in response. I'm not dead, though. Interesting. So let's play the Vraska. We can gain a life and go to 4, but leaving the Llanowar Elf is just like that because it attacks us back down. So let's kill this now and force the opponent to draw the Lightning Strike or the haste creature. Right off the top. Ravager Worm will do it. Good game, dude. We just didn't get there in time. And that's been the story of the event today. I don't think it's gone particularly well. We had some fun games, but we also had some just what felt like pretty tragic luck. 4-3 isn't bad, though. We got our money back and we got some cards. I hope you enjoyed this look at a Sultai control deck. It's a little bit different from other control decks. I do like the card Vivid Revival. It's a shame that we had to play it there on that last turn and the opponent drew the lethal on us, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, what do you think of Sultai control? If you have any builds of it that you particularly like, you can put them in comments or post them in my Discord, which is totally free, link in the description. Also, let's take a minute and say you should get into the Flipside Gaming War of the Spark booster box giveaway. If you use the promo code CGB on Flipside Gaming between now and May 6th, you are automatically entered to win an entire booster box of War of the Spark if the purchase is over $10. You will also save 10% on your purchase, and you'll support the channel. Thank you very much to everybody who uses the promo code CGB on flipsidegaming.com. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment. You can also support the channel on Patreon for special perks. Links are in the description. Our sponsors are HauntedFlower.com and FlipsideGaming.com. Haunted Flower sells officially licensed MTG apparel and accessories, and Flipside Gaming sells MTG cards and supplies. You can save 10% on either site with the promo code CGB, and it supports the channel at the same time. See you next time for another day in the arena. For now, it's me, it's CGB, signing out.